There we go. Look at that. We are here. We are live and direct. How you guys doing? Yes.
Well, I could be better.
There you go. Oh my, there's 6 people watching.
Look at that.
Imagine.
Ladies and
People
gentlemen.
with nothing better to do. Imagine.
Yeah, you people with ladies and gentlemen and everything in between. How you doing? Yeah, this is indeed Coffee with Lavender, and we have much people with us today. We have the one, the only, the brilliant, the beautiful bionic dance, Kate Farr. Hello, my love. How are you?
Well, like I said, I could be better, but I could also be a hell of a lot worse. The really thing, okay, I'm starting to run out of groceries and I'm completely out of weed, and it's 23 degrees out there, Fahrenheit, for those of you who don't know freedom units. Oh, wait, no, I refreshed. It's 26 degrees. I might be able to go out later today without actually, losing skin to frostbite.
Oh, my.
But other than that, things are decent. I've been working on some animated stuff. And well, okay, here's another thing. Twitter literally blocked me for a week for nothing. Literally nothing. The thing that they told me that they didn't like, I told this queerphobic bigot, citation needed, prove that it's a mental illness and do it from an unbiased source. And apparently for Twitter, that was beyond the pale. But when they sent me which rule I'd broken, the section that said it was blank, completely blank. I don't know what the fuck I did or said. And I even appealed it, and they decided, nah, you still broke the rules. I don't know what's up with that. But so if you're wondering why I haven't been on Twitter, it's because Twitter's full of shite.
Twitter's been screwy lately. I saw an account, the Orville Nation got permanently suspended from Twitter. I don't know why.
That's fucked up.
The Orville Nation. I don't know that I know that one.
Well, it's probably for the Orville, the TV show.
Well, yeah, but I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, they just post stuff on the Orville.
Well, that's just weird. And there were a couple of people getting banned almost for the same thing I am, where they're calling out a bigot. And because they have to use the same language as the bigot to address what they'd said, Twitter immediately decides that they're a bigot. You cannot argue with these people unless you use, softened euphemisms.
Don't you just love those bots that run things?
Now, I did see an article recently that said that Facebook, not Twitter, but Facebook has, been petitioned and apparently has agreed to start being more transparent with that sort of thing. And when users appeal a block, you'll be able to tell them why. You'll be able to give your reasoning. I don't know when they're rolling that out, but I saw an article that said that they're going to get a lot more transparent because of just general user outcry and a couple of official sources saying, dude, what the fuck, So hopefully that gets implemented soon, but I don't know what's up with Twitter.
Facebook's system is so sensitive, I don't even bother posting there anymore, really.
Oh, yeah, I seriously, the number of times I got blocked because I posted, an image from Indiana Jones and there happened to be a swastika on the guy he's beating up. I mean, it's just it's a minefield anymore. You don't know what the rules are.
And it might actually get worse.
Think so?
That's just what I wanted to
hear. There's a Supreme Court ruling coming up that may actually kibosh the whole internet.
What do you mean by that?
Basically, it'll make these companies responsible for what gets posted.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
I don't know how that can possibly fly. How can you justify that?
I don't know exactly how all the details, but apparently somebody was complaining about was something that was posted in YouTube, and that's where the court case is. They wanted to sue YouTube for what got put up, and it's gone to the Supreme Court.
That's just so stupid. I mean, YouTube can't control that. YouTube can't monitor every video. I don't know. But I did see something recently along similar lines. Someone, I think it was someone in Florida, but not Ron DeSantis. Don't quote me though. It was somewhere in that area. Wanted to introduce a bill to age gate social media so that you can't be on it till you're 16, in the name of protecting the children, of course.
Oh yeah, I don't remember who that was.
Well, how do you enforce that?
You're asking the wrong person.
I mean, no, I don't think that was Florida. That was.
Well, it was somewhere in that area.
No, they had one on porn. It was. All right. I'll have to look it up later.
Anyway.
Yeah, Greg says Jenny is banned for life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why?
Jenny Morgan.
What happened?
Apparently, she was calling. She says she was calling Nazis and had posted some stuff with swastikas.
Man, they're so full of shit on that. You know, it's like, how are you able to protest anything?
I guess that's the idea. They don't want you to do that.
I don't think it is. I think they're just covering their asses. I think they're just like, look, you know, at some point, someone somewhere is going to be like really pissy about some of the stuff that's on here. So maybe we'd better over police. You know, like I don't think that they're necessarily trying to stamp out actual movements or you know, anti bigot groups or anything. I think they're just like, well, you know, if someone says Nazi, we have to ban them, even if they're saying Nazis are bad. I hate Nazis. We got to get rid of them because, you know, trigger word.
It's just, I don't know, it feels not worth it to even be on any of these platforms anymore.
It's really the only way I can stay in contact with some people I care about. So
Yeah, that's the problem. Mm-hmm. Because I certainly can't stay in contact with anyone in FaceTime or anything like that. I mean, Jesus Christ, the closest one of you people is what, 200 miles from me?
that would be me.
I think you're a little farther than that, aren't you?
I really don't know what the distance is. It's got to be more than 200 miles.
Because I'm thinking of Beelzebub,
Ah, where's he?
somewhere near Columbus, Ohio.
Well, I don't know. I would walk 500 miles. Anyway, I'll just be over here. I don't know. It's weird. I have a weird relationship with that song. The first time I heard it, it was sent to me on a mixtape by the girl I moved to Seattle for. And then, like, ever since, well, I mean, you know, they made a big deal about it in How I Met Your Mother. And I don't know. It's weird. Like it's easy to hate that song, but it's much easier to love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are 582.2 miles from me.
Well, that's far.
9 hours and 39 minutes via I-90 West.
Huh. Wow, that's funny to me. Like, because I know where I-90 is, you know, in Seattle. Like, I know these things go all the way across the country, but it's kind of funny to think of like, oh yeah, I-90, of course, in both ends of the country. Sure, why not? It's kind of like I-5, you know, runs through California and Seattle.
Yep. Well, it's an odd number, so it goes north-south.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we
got a stool.
have? Moo?
We got a stool.
Yeah, the neighborhood is Shatola.
He showed up for my first live stream.
He's been here for a while. I saw his comment.
I saw him here.
I just looked at the chat here. It was in my first live stream I did yesterday.
Yeah, 386 miles, Kitty. Virtually next door.
Oh, wrong kitty. Okay.
No,
I'm like,
Shadow Kitty.
yeah. No, I was
No.
totally picturing the different, yeah.
Oh, what is it? I drove that once, and well, not quite. I only drove to Atlanta. Um,
Alrighty, I'm back.
Hello.
Well,
hi.
A real trip.
Sounds like you're having all kinds of fun.
I'm not
oh,
really
yeah.
at the hospital here.
You know,
Okay, yeah. Let's see. Kitty is about 1,175 miles from me. That other Kitty, not the
Right.
one in New Jersey.
Closer than Kitty is.
the Florida kitty.
Yes.
The Florida kitty.
I estimate I'm about a day's drive from you. The actual thing says about 90, a little shy of 20 hours, but when you figure in traffic,
Yeah, Mage, you're here in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we're both about the same distance from Lavender.
yeah, I'm about 2 hours south of Tampa.
Okay, so I'm actually closer then. Because I'm 2 hours north of Tampa.
And then Tampa is 15 and a half hours from here.
Yeah.
Tampa has always sounded either like a verb or an onomatopoeia to me. You know, Tampa, 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 Tampa. I don't know. It just has a sound effect vibe to it, or like you have to tamp something down. You know, Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just always that's what it sounded like to me.
Moo.
Yeah. Well,
But then when I look at the United States, I see the silhouette of a four-legged turkey. So what do I know?
Yeah. When I look at the United States, I can't help but think of Bugs Bunny sawing Florida off.
I don't remember that, but okay.
I forget which cartoon that was.
Well, I would imagine Looney Tunes.
Well, I mean, which title?
I know. I was just being a brat.
But it looks due south. Wait a minute. $60 cheap flights from Tampa to Pittsburgh.
So apparently they want to make it easier for you to get the hell out. Oh, I saw something really crazy. There was this news item. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is. But there was something like if you were to post the wrong thing on the internet and it made its way to a certain state, they can prosecute you for it being visible in that state or some bullshit like that. It was really weird. Where it was like, dude, I did not break any state or federal law where I am. I cannot be prosecuted for what you happen to access in your goddamn state. Makes no sense.
Yeah, this is getting crazy. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Definitely.
well, what's even crazier though is like for years, people on the left have been posting that picture of the United States of Canada and Jesus Land. You know that map where it's like red and blue, but now when Marjorie Taylor Greene says, let's have a national divorce because our differences are irreconcilable, all of a sudden she's a nut. And I'm like, she is a nut. She's a fucking, oh my gosh. But every now and then a stopped clock is right. And I think in this one, I don't know how our differences can ever be reconciled. I really don't. I mean, unless there's some cure for Trumpism, unless there's some way to not be a maggot anymore, I don't see us having any kind of unity ever again.
Personally, I think the problem goes back a lot farther than just Trump.
Well, whether it does or not, the point is that the mindset is the problem.
Yes, yes, yeah. That's what I'm saying too. And,
Well, that's what I was saying. Is like unless we can get that attitude gone, I don't see this like I'm not ruling out the possibility that someone in the South is going to start a civil war or the Bible
Oh,
Belt
Could somebody just come and annex Florida though if this happens?
and Texas. I mean, honestly, like I used to be pretty okay with Texas for the most part. You know, I mean, sure, there's some weird people there, but there's all like bad weird, but there's also like some good weird people there and people I like and everything that. But then they've just gone completely insane there.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes you can't cure a disease; you just have to cut out the infected bit.
No, like I said, my solution is we take all the good people from Texas, all the bad people from Florida, and swap, and then we just annex Florida.
Well, you know that wall they keep insisting we build, you know? Why not just build it a little bit further north?
well, Stoll says the problems were created by Thatcher and Reagan, and you know what? I'm not altogether sure he's wrong.
Well, I don't know about the whole Thatcher thing, but it would not shock me to discover it happened before Reagan. In fact, I want to go as far as saying it might have been like the whole Barry Goldwater Southern strategy, that whole thing. Was it Goldwater? I forget. I might be mixing it up, but there was someone who did the Southern strategy. I thought it was during the Goldwater campaign, at least.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, whoever did the Southern strategy, the one who like lost big time, that's who started it before Reagan.
Yeah, because
Well, the whole point of the Southern strategy was to court the racist vote. That was the entire point of it.
yes, it was.
So, I mean, I would point to that rather than Reagan.
And
Not that Reagan helped.
it was, I believe, Goldwater against Johnson.
That would make sense then, sure. I don't know.
Goldwater campaign.
Yeah. Okay, so I was right. Good. My memory is such crap, you know, that I'm glad I remembered that. Although I think my long term is better than my short term, although I'm working on the short term. Like, you know how the brain's a muscle or basically it can reroute itself around problems like that? Well, I've been playing a lot of Beat Saber, especially on some of the more advanced levels, and that requires a fair amount of short-term memory. I'm hoping that will help mine get better.
Well, we can see, right?
I'm just hoping.
Oh,
I'm not even sure how to gauge it, to be perfectly honest. Like, I certainly didn't start measuring my short-term memory at any time at all. Maybe my neurologist has something, but you know, like if I hit normal, what pre-stroke normal was, I'm not sure I'll be able to tell. It'll be one of those really gradual, you know, frog boiling to death things. Slow burn.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm told that doesn't actually happen, but you know. Like the frog would, or the whatever would jump out. Like it would know it was getting too hot.
I'll take your word for it.
I read about it somewhere.
I've never tried, so.
Well, neither have I. Like I said, I read about it somewhere. But you know.
I read it about it in a foo-foo. What am I talking about?
A little bunny, apparently.
I guess. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just looking around here, and it's Jesus Christ. It's better than. Hey, excuse me. Wow, better than it was 2 weeks ago, but it's still fucked up in here.
Oh, your place. Okay, sorry. This is looking around. We were talking politics. I thought you meant your fellow citizens, but if you mean your place, okay.
Yeah, no, my fellow citizens are a bunch of foo-foos.
Well, I don't know. Do they go around bopping field mice on the head?
Pretty much. Oh, God.
Yes, my child.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Que está a cara soda berron.
So I mean, because like I'm looking at what Shadow Kitty here posted about, you know, the whole return to family values thing. One thing I often wonder, like, do like the rabidly queer phobic people who insist that like traditional marriage is going to be destroyed or whatever if gay people can get married, do those people genuinely believe that if we allow people to have alternative lifestyles, no one will be cis het straight ever again, that no one will have kids ever again? Do they genuinely believe that, or is it just a bullshit argument? And yes, I know some of them, it's going to be divided. Some people really believe it, some people don't. But I mean, for the most part, do they really believe that traditional marriage can even be destroyed?
I don't know.
Oh my. I don't even think they know what traditional marriage is.
Yes, they do. Man, woman, kids, straight, het, all of that. That's what they believe it is.
But what they believe it is, yeah.
Well, but that's what they're talking about. We're talking about what they believe it is. You know, would they, like, do they genuinely believe that the traditional marriage they believe in would be destroyed by allowing other kinds of marriage? Do they really think that?
Maybe they think it'll
Okay.
be made such a minority that'll be irrelevant.
Seriously,
I don't
and
know.
everything, I think they do think it will be destroyed, or at least it'll turn their kids queer.
See, and that's another one. Like, I've been arguing with a lot of queer phobes and transphobes. Well, I mean, trans is queer, but whatever. The point is, I've been arguing with a lot of them. And it's like their arguments make no sense. It's like they're just throwing anything at the wall to see what sticks, you know? And the whole like traditional marriage thing and oh, we're going to turn your kids queer or whatever, and talk to any queer person, and we all believe that your sexuality is what it is. That, you know, even if you're like non-binary or whatever, you don't stop being non-binary. Even if you're whatever, you know, you're a top and a bottom. I don't know, switch, is that called a switch? I was thinking Nintendo when I hear switch. But the point is that, like,
Know.
you know, I don't believe, and I don't think too many other queer people believe, that you can make someone queer. I don't believe that's even possible to do. You're either born queer or you're not.
I'm
You
with
know,
you on
it's like hair color, skin color, whatever. You cannot change your sexuality or your gender, even if your gender fluctuates back and forth. You can't deliberately change it, is my point. But these people are like, oh, you're going to brainwash our kids. I'm like, dude, none of us want to groom somebody because they'll figure out they're straight eventually and it'll untake. And it's cruel. And why would anyone do that? Stop acting like it's real. You made that up.
Yeah, I've been making a lot of arguments on that point as well. In fact, I came across a few studies that were really rather interesting. They're looking at structural MRI scans of the brain to see if they can determine in the sex of the person, and they had like around 94% in accuracy when looking at people who were cis. However, when they looked at people who were transgender, or specifically trans women, the accuracy dropped to 56%. And they had another study where they were just trying to determine the person's gender from just looking at brain scans, and they were having an accuracy of around like 97%. And the scans actually are matching up with the opposite with people who are trans.
Well, that doesn't
So wait a
shock me.
minute.
And I saw an article that had like, you know, cis men, cis women brain scans, and actually like trans, I think it was just trans women, I'm not sure, was actually in the middle between them.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
That's what
Yeah.
I've seen.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, do they really think that argument works? 'Cause, I mean, I'll be honest. I've gotten to a point now where I don't even address certain arguments. I just essentially point and laugh. I'm like, oh my gosh, you really believe that? Who told you that? I can't believe someone told you that. That's not real. You know,
Yeah.
like, don't even address the argument. Just go, oh my gosh, I can't believe you actually think that's a real argument, and just move on. You know, and
Yeah,
if they try to insist, just keep letting them talk and give them prompts that make them get crazier and crazier as they speak, so that anyone watching will go, wow, we have one person making sense and another person who sounds like someone on the street screaming about UFOs trying to turn them into Jesus or something.
yeah. I've also been looking at the statistics on the detransitioning and just how low that those numbers are,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and the reasons why they given, and even like most of the reasons why are external. Like the
yes,
parents disagreed and whatnot. Social pressures and all that. Very few who it's like a percentage of a percentage for detransitioning for personal reasons,
yeah.
and are more internal. Well, so I was pointing that out. Like, okay, if everybody's just being groomed into this, we should see this number of detransitioning for this reason much higher.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I know they've never talked to an actual trans person because they act like you can just go, oh, I'm trans, and that's it. You know, that's just it. Like they don't know about all of the gatekeeping that there is between, like, getting all the stuff you need to get. And
Oh,
I,
they think,
I
yeah,
remember my trans friends talking about getting their hormone letters after a bunch of sessions with a shrink. But the transphobes think all you have to do is stick on a dress and that's all.
yeah, they think all that has been fast tracked, and they're just letting everybody through who just says they're trans.
Oh
Now, see,
man,
I'm
I
assuming that's
remember.
bullshit, but I couldn't say. I don't actually know on that one.
I remember when I
They
had.
were pointing out that it's different in the US and different in the UK. Like there was this organization called Mermaids or something, and that's the one they're wigging out about. That's the one they hold up as an example of grooming because apparently they were fast tracking, but I don't know if that's true. That's the accusation. I don't know anything about this Mermaids other than what the transphobes have said about it.
I don't know, but I remember sitting in front of a panel to get cleared for my hormones. I mean, there were 6 or 7 people on this panel to whom I had to answer.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they were hitting me with all sorts of questions. For example, what do I expect to get from HRT? Was one of the questions.
Hmm.
And what happens, I guess, a lot of people think that those are magic beans and that they somehow turn you into what you want to be. And that's the surest way to get disappointed because that shit doesn't happen.
This is also interesting. I came across the gender identity 5 years after social transitioning. And this is for, I guess, kids. They had 317 individuals, 208 trans girls, those 109 trans boys. After 5 years of their initial social transition, keep in mind social transition, not any. 7.3% of the youth transitioned at least once, and it turned out. Let's see what. Let's lost my track. Where identified as binary transgender youth, 94% include 1.3% who retransitioned to another identity before returning to their binary transgender identity. A total of 2.5% of youth ended up identifying as cis, and 3.5 as non-binary.
See, okay, I have a friend who transitioned way back in like 2004, I want to say. I don't know. It was early 2000s. We actually were coworkers before we were friends. And I'd forgotten about this, but I remember her having to get electrolysis done with like a needle. Like they have lasers these days. I looked into it for my legs, because I'm getting sick and tired of mowing. But apparently they would stick a needle in there and like use electricity to cauterize the follicle. And she and I were going to hang out and do something a while back. I forget what it was, probably a movie, maybe a video game session. I don't remember exactly, but like our schedules clashed a little. So I had to meet her at the electrolysis place and I got to watch it happen. Like I saw them stick a needle straight into her face and they zapped her. And like the look on her face was just, ew. Yeah, it looks like Diana does when she has her neck go wonky on her. right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And she told me that they, like, before getting the surgery, you got to get that done on your nads. Like, they got to take hair off of your nutsack for part of it. And I'm like,
Ow.
oh my God, are you kidding me? And so it's like, if anyone tries to tell me that people who transition don't mean it, and I watched my friend go through all that shit, I'm like, I'm thinking there's some dedication there. If someone wasn't serious, they wouldn't go through that, you know?
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So
Ah.
I actually bought a like this home laser electrolysis thing to work on the legs. It's mostly working, but some hair is just so stubborn. Like I also tried it on my underarms, and boy howdy did it barely work. You know, it seems like the kind of thing where you have to go over it not just 2 or 3 times, but like 10.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I got lucky. I'll tell you. My underarm hair is barely there. I don't even have to shave, really.
Hmm. Wow.
My leg hair is barely there. So I guess that HRT really does some good stuff. Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. I mean, I know some pretty furry women out there. And let's face it, my ancestry includes about 30% Italy, and they are a hairy people. So, you know,
Hirsute, I believe it is, right?
I believe so, but I've never been certain if that's how to pronounce it.
Oh my, oh my.
You know, it's like, what is it? Hirsute, I think.
I think that's it. Let me look.
But yeah, I mean, it looks like her suit, but I don't know. Is she going to wear casual clothing? No, she's going to wear her suit,
Yeah.
is what it always sounds like to my ears. So,
Hirsute. There you go.
Romy, rock. I wonder if I'd be good at spelling bees. Like, you know, unless something has a silent K in it somewhere, you know, good I can figure it out phonetically.
There you are.
This
There,
word has a
there was
silent
a
Q.
joke about that in Friends once where like Ross was having an argument with, I think it was Greg Kinnear playing a paleontologist, and like he challenged Ross to spell some word that began with a silent M or something. It was like MPs or something. It was just fucked up.
And then you have those languages that have about a dozen letters that are silent.
Well, yeah, we're looking at you, French.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I mean, I would love to see if there really is a story or a justification for why they pronounce things so fucked upedly.
Some of the terms in biology really mess me up. Like Cnidarian. It has an initial C.
Okay. Well, you know, for a very long time, I never saw the word crudités spelled with an accent over the E, so I thought they were cruddites and had no idea what the hell was going on.
Okay. Okay.
You know, put a capital C in front of that, and it's like, oh yes, we are members of the crud cult. We are cruddites. You know, that kind of, you know, I mean, there are a lot of words like that. I mean, we've talked about Tagalog, looks like Tagalog when it's spelled. And let's
Yes, it
face it,
does.
Tagalog does not sound like Tagalog.
Ever see that commercial where the guys sitting there, they're trying to do for a job interview? It was like I'm ready to join the dumbass family, and I'm going on and
Oh
on.
yeah. Okay.
I have not
Dumas.
seen this commercial.
And the boss is like, just here, it's Dumas.
I thought it was Dumas, though. Like, isn't it sort of like you don't pronounce the S?
I could not tell you. I really couldn't. Is there anybody who knows what period would that be? The Don Quixote, written by Dumas.
Well, but see there, you just said it, Dumas. Right, it's not Dumas. You don't pronounce the S.
Yeah, but I mean, is there anybody who knows the history of that?
What, of the name?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not really all that curious about the name. I'm curious about why the French don't pronounce half their letters.
Oh, they're just being assholes.
I'll accept that as an answer. Although, as I understand it, like French people feel the same way about Quebecers. Like they don't want to be associated. Like, sure, we both speak French, but we don't want to be associated with them. As I understand it, I could be wrong, but I've heard that France French do not like Canada French.
That makes sense. Well, the France French don't like anybody really.
Well, I'll take your word for that, but I understand they have a grudge then, if that's what it takes to make my point. They really don't like the Canadian French people, like just sort of on that fundamental gut level of you guys are fakers or something, like we're the real French speakers kind of thing, is the impression I've gotten. Again, don't quote me.
Well, you guys are too much like Americans. That's got to be it.
Oh, I doubt it. Because they're nothing like Americans. Believe me, I've gone up to Montreal enough times and you. Also, have you seen how screwed up their bagels are?
No, I have not.
They look like soft pretzels. They're very thin.
Oh, geez. No, that's no good. What I would like to do, though, and maybe I'm weird for this, but I'd like to go up to Halifax and then cross the continent by train.
Why?
Just to see the place and to experience a long distance train journey.
Okay, but why do you want to experience a long distance train journey? What's the appeal?
A new experience?
All right.
I mean, it's
My
nothing
experience,
special.
not all new experiences are good ones, but sure, okay. I mean, it's got to be better than, granted longer, but better than a plane flight because you can stand up.
Yeah.
Your seat isn't necessarily assigned. If you end up with some, jerkwad sitting next to you, you can get up and move.
Yeah, I don't think that I want to do much flying anymore. I used to love to fly. I mean, I was in my element when I was in the air.
It's gotten easier. I've gone through airports where they're like, you know what? Unless it's a laptop, leave your electronics in. We don't care anymore. Like, seriously, the TSA clearly doesn't give a shit anymore.
Okay.
And it's also different from airport to airport is the thing. Like, there was one airport where all they wanted was for me to take off my jacket and shoes, and that was it. Everything else, just shove it through the x-ray. We don't give a damn. So it has gotten easier to fly lately.
Take off your jacket and shoes.
Well, you know how you have to take off your shoes to fly ever since 9/11.
Well, I know that one, but I didn't know about the jacket.
Well, imagine going through that funky, not actually an x-ray thing with a jacket on. They're going to get pissy. And a couple of them have confirmed this for me. If you want to get through without being patted down, wear skin-tight clothing. The baggier your clothing, the more likely you are to get a pat down.
Oh, yeah, because they think you're going to hide something.
Or they think you have hidden something. But seriously, go in with like skin-tight jeans or stretchy pants and a t-shirt, and you'll breeze right through security.
I still want to see somebody try and go through that in full plate armor.
Nah. Well, clearly it's going to set something off because it's metal, but,
Just for a joke, come up with full suit of armor, clink, clink, clink.
I have to wonder, like, how many people have boarded a plane flight looking ridiculous? Like, how many full clown makeup and regalia people have gotten on planes?
Cannot tell you.
Although I got to tell you, flying in a plane with a clown, and given how many people have phobias, trapped up in the air in a metal tube with a clown, someone's going to flip.
Okay.
Which would be funny to film, but otherwise.
I tell you what I'd really, really like, but I can't afford the flying lessons. I would like to fly cross country in a P-51.
Yeah, you and your P-51 fetish.
I love that plane.
But it's no F-14.
And that's why I like the P-51.
And that's why you're wrong. The F-14 is a jet. It has those awesome twin fins on the back. It's just really cool looking. It's just, I love the visual design of it. It's sleek and it looks kind of like it could have been a spaceship in a former life. Whereas the P-51 looks like it could have been a desk fan in a former life.
But you can hear it coming. Oh my word.
Okay, I lived in Seattle where every summer the Blue Angels would fly over the city constantly for Seafair. Believe me, you'll hear those coming too. In fact, they will drown out a P-51.
Oh man.
I mean, seriously, like it's gotten to be sort of a Seattle meme. People come from all around for Seafair, but people who live in Seattle fucking hate the Blue Angels so much. Like, we wish they'd just leave us alone.
Okay.
Yeah, well, because they are overhead for like a week doing flybys constantly through Seafair. Nobody likes it.
Oh, I remember that shit. When I was at Wrigley for the one game when I was in Chicago, that happened to be a day that the Blue Angels were doing practice runs.
Hmm.
And oh my word, yeah, the reverb.
Yeah. And I mean, when I was in San Diego, every now and then low flying choppers would go overhead and you could feel the air in your apartment vibrating, pulsing.
Oh my.
You know, and I mean, it wasn't like a a propeller or nothing, like a rotor blade. No, it was boom, 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 boom. Like it was. It wasn't just booms. It was regular, but slower than you'd think from a helicopter.
Okay.
Yeah, it was weird. It was very weird, but they would go overhead all the time. Now, what's funny to me is some of them were not military choppers. Some of them were actually the police. And what I didn't know, because I usually would walk around with headphones on, was that those choppers would go overhead making announcements about like fugitives and felons to be on the lookout for. Like, there's this loudspeaker in the helicopter going, "We are looking for a red SUV, plate number blah, the possible kidnapping. Do not attempt to apprehend yourself." Like, seriously, on an endless loop, these choppers would play like police warnings over the city. Okay, I guess the screen is frozen. Oh dear.
Oh, okay.
That was weird.
Yes, I guess she froze.
I guess so. But nobody responded to what I was saying, so I don't know if you heard the end of what I was saying about the helicopters.
Oh, I heard. I accidentally had myself muted.
Okay. I was wondering. But yeah, it looks like she froze. Oh well. For a second there, I thought she was absolutely rapt with my story, but it turns out.
Sometimes it's hard to tell. She doesn't always move.
Yeah. Oh well, what you gonna do? Oh, hey, look at that. It's actually like almost to freezing already.
Oh.
It's like 27 degrees out there now, where it was 6 this morning. So who knows? I might actually get out shopping today, which will be good because, like I said before, how much how much unseasoned, except for teriyaki sauce pasta, can a person eat? I mean, it's just, oy, yeah. I need to go food shopping, is my point, and I'm also out of weed.
I've got really nice weather right now.
You're in Florida. Shut up.
It's 74 right now, and it's looking at a low of 63 tonight. That's nice.
I don't know. It's funny because it actually hit like the 40s or something, maybe a week ago. I'm walking around going, aha, now I remember why early spring felt like bikini weather when I was living in Vermont. That's right. It's just in comparison to what we'd been enduring, it feels so warm. If I felt that when I was still living in California, I'd be all bundled up.
Ha, okay. That makes sense.
It's just a weird sort of perspective thing when it comes to temperature.
You kind of acclimate to it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, like, part of me is looking at Vermont going, what the hell was I thinking moving back here? But another part of me is like, it's not so bad.
You were thinking you were homesick.
Well, yes, that is what I was thinking. But I mean, you know what I meant. But I mean, like it didn't even snow enough today for it to be a snow day. Like if it was not Sunday, if it was a school day, there was not enough snow to close school. Damn it!
Yeah.
But I remember that, like back in the 80s, because well, they announced it on the radio. You'd be listening on the radio intently after a big snowfall to see whether or not you got to stay home that day.
I've had a few tight days like that with storms.
Okay, there we go.
She's back.
I ran out of battery power.
Oh, is that what they're calling it these days?
I think so.
I didn't even know what I'm referring to. It just sounded like, well, okay, actually, I think it was Corman and Spielberg, the directors, were talking about how, like, sometimes leaving things up to the audience's imagination makes things nastier.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the people who got eaten by Jaws, or a lot of the people who got killed or blown up in like the Road Warrior or something, you like the camera would actually cut away from the actual violence, but you'd know something was going on, and what your imagination would supply was usually better than what was up on screen.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I used that
Yeah.
once in Quinn Redshift. Once.
Yeah,
It
they-
was when Quinn threw his gun and it exploded. I let the explosion happen behind the camera.
Yeah, they use that quite a bit in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, well, I mean, the same thing works though with like jokes, for example. There was I forget exactly what it was, but there was like I was in a D&D group, and there was this meme where these adventurers were finding out that the dragon didn't need to be fought; it needed to get laid, and the bard goes and steps up. Or no, that wasn't it. No, that wasn't it. It was they're looking for a ring. And the dragon's like, yeah, it's not on any of my fingers. And the bard
geez.
steps and goes, all right, I'm on it. And I typed in earring, stop that. Right? Well, just saying earring wasn't enough. It was the stop that made it funny. I didn't have to define that. It was just like, oh my gosh, you're objecting to something that's clearly prurient as hell. And whatever you supply in your head for what the bard and the dragon are doing for that ring is, much better than anything I could tell you or draw or whatever. It's, so that's the thing, is like leaving stuff up to people's imagination is sometimes better. Now, I hate it when people leave it up to my imagination when there was a cliffhanger. Like, oh, write your own ending. Oh, fuck off. I don't want to write my own ending. You're the author. Tell me what you intended.
Yeah, that's a problem they have with a lot of Disney Star Wars. They're telling you way too much.
What do you mean?
Well, like take a Solo movie. They gave us an origin for Han Solo's last name, Solo.
Oh.
It was totally unnecessary.
Yeah, they kind of did that in Lightyear a couple of times where they're like, remember that thing from Toy Story? Well, here's why. And it's something we totally didn't need in the least. Like it would have been better to leave it mysterious because number one, nobody really cared that much. But number two, explaining it was like rubbing our noses in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This 1804.
I have no idea what Bloggity Shmoo is on about here. I mean, Dr. Jones, I know you're watching. You're still a dick. What are we talking about here? And
Oh, that's the guy I used to work for.
okay. And Hand Solo. Yeah.
Yeah, Bloggerty was in the audience all the time.
But I don't remember this Dr. Jones.
That's the New Covenant group.
Oh. Okay.
That was a while ago, man.
Yeah. I still remember Ham Salad in Hardware Wars. Did you see Hardware Wars?
Yes, I did.
Hmm.
I think I still have a copy of it.
Yeah. I love, well, it's on YouTube if you don't. For some reason, the name Fluke Starbucker just makes me laugh so hard.
Okay.
And just like I get why he did the whole golly thing, because Luke does sort of have that gosh and golly quality to him, but still it was so overblown, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a space Gomer Pyle, basically.
No, more like a space kid from a 1950s sitcom. What was the one Ron Howard played? Like, was it
Opie.
Leave It to Beaver or something? Yeah, like
No,
a space
he
Ron
played with Andy
Howard.
Williams.
Sure. Well, point is a space Ron Howard, you know, but not whatever he was. Think of Happy Days. His character from Happy Days.
Who was basically a taller Opie.
Well, I'll take your word for it, but the point is that, you know, it's that gosh and golly quality to him that Luke kind of had back in the day.
Gee golly, Ben.
Yeah. You know, holy dark side, Batman. You know, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. A little surprised they haven't done like a Robin movie.
I don't know. From what I remember, the character just didn't appeal to me that much.
Well, he has also changed a bit in the last couple of years, and as I understand it, he became his own hero called Nightwing.
Yeah, they have done stuff with the Titans.
Yeah. Although, here's an interesting crossover I'd like to see: Batman and Robin Hood.
Okay.
I'd watch it. There's also someone who draws a comic called Batmention Reuben. It's like all, you know, if Batman was Jewish.
Oh God, that sounds like something the gang from Mad would do.
It has that sort of at one point you see Batmensch punching someone and it says Zetz.
Yeah.
It's very Yiddish, you know. I mean, half my family is upstate New York Jewish. And so, you know, it's very familiar, this Batmenschen Reuben. It looks like people that I grew up like with as extended family.
Moo.
Yeah.
Probably the closest character they would have in DC for a Robin and Hood character would be Green Arrow.
I know nothing about Green Arrow, like except that he sort of looks like Robin Hood and uses a bow. That's everything I know about the guy.
I can barely remember what Green Arrow looked like.
He looks like Robin Hood with a blonde beard.
Yeah.
I'm trying
That's
to
it.
remember, was that DC?
Yes.
Yeah. Now,
Okay.
here's what I'd like to see is Green Arrow, Green Hornet, and Green Lantern in a big old three-way fight. Or teaming up. Either way, you know.
Okay.
Green heroes or something. I don't know. It's one of those things. I think it'd be entertaining. I wonder if there's anyone out there who's like, man, Superman and Supergirl should totally get married, having no idea that they're like cousins.
Then we can always bring Booster Gold into the whole mix just to bring in comedy.
Okay, here's something that really irritates me. I have tried to get into superhero comics over the years, and every time I get into a comic, it does poorly, and the hero either gets canceled or put into, like, you know, one of the legions or leagues or whatever the fuck they have, you know. And I'm like, it happened with Booster Gold, and it happened with Stars and Stripe, and it happened with a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm like, dude, now all of a sudden I have to take this one comic that I was really enjoying, and I have to read something with decades worth of backstory to continue reading about the character I liked. Fuck you. You know?
DC is notorious for doing that.
Yeah, it's annoying as hell. Like, I'm reading the original X-Men right now, and sure, there's a bunch of crossovers, but I don't need like a billion issues worth of backstory to understand what's up. You know, like I don't know anything about Submariner, but when he showed up, they gave me enough info.
Yeah, that's how I think they should handle those kind of crossovers.
Although I'll be honest, I don't like how everything in Marvel is connected. I'd love to see some standalone heroes where there are no other heroes in the world. It's just that hero, you know?
I agree. I agree. In fact, I think the X-Men should actually be in their own little world.
That's a good idea. I'd love to see Deadpool in his own world. Nobody, like, we don't need anyone but Deadpool in Deadpool.
Deadpool might be a bit difficult because his powers actually originate from Wolverine's.
Okay, granted, I only know his origin story from the movies. I read a couple. Well, that's another one. Deadpool actually kind of got fucked up because I was reading Deadpool and I was really enjoying it. And then, like, I got to the end of an episode or an issue, and it said, "Oh, by the way, Deadpool's now Agent X, and he doesn't wear the outfit anymore, and he's got this big old X-shaped scar on his face. Good luck." I'm like, dude.
I missed that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I don't know what happened exactly, but I was reading Deadpool and really enjoying it, and then Deadpool went away.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was like a brief thing and then they brought him back or what, but
I don't know
for a little while there, I couldn't get any new issues.
I don't know what Deadpool's doing or what Marvel's doing these days. They've been kind of screwing their characters left and right.
I am curious whether or not Deadpool 3 will hold up. I actually didn't like Deadpool 2 on the first viewing, but the second viewing, I really enjoyed it. I think it was partly because I really didn't know some of the other characters. Like, I know nothing about, what's that guy's name? Cable. That's
Cable.
it. Know nothing about the guy, except what they showed in the movie. But once I started understanding people's backstories a bit better, the movie made more sense, and I enjoyed. Oh, hey, Kitty's here. So I mean, like,
Hi, Kitty.
unless Deadpool 3 makes 1,000 side references that I don't get because I don't like watch the MCU or read the comics much. Unless if it doesn't do that, I'll probably enjoy it.
I'm surprised they didn't do any meta jokes about race swapping Domino in that sequel.
I wouldn't know about that. Which one was Domino? Is that the chick with the luck, or is that someone else? Okay.
Yeah, she's the one with the luck powers.
What was she originally? What?
She's white.
Okay.
She's like all white with a black spot over her eye.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't know. I mean, she seemed a decent enough character, but I'm still irritated when they change the source material. Like, I'd be a lot happier if the original character had also been black. No, not because black, but because continuity. I really hate it when they don't stay true to the source material. I mean, I hate that a lot.
Yeah, there was some complaints about changing her.
And I mean, like, seriously, I get a lot of people acting like somehow that's a big deal, like somehow I'm a bad person. I'm like, look, if they made a black character white, I'd be just as pissed, and for the same reasons. Because source material, because continuity. Don't go fucking with it, But everyone's like, nope, heard enough, you're a bigot. I'm like, no, dude, seriously, just don't change shit. I don't care what changed. Just don't do it. On the other hand, there are some books, like book to movie translations where the book is simply unfilmable. You could not make a good movie out of Ready Player One, the book. You just couldn't. Because half the book is people reciting verbatim 80s movies. Which, don't get me wrong, I love 80s movies, but that would not be a good movie unto itself.
Moo.
I'm just saying. So, anyway.
This thing's being a pain in my arse.
Anyway, that's Domino from the comics.
Oh, so when you say white, you mean like pale, like... Okay, I see. Yeah, I was not picturing that. I was picturing more like Karen. You know what I mean? When you say white. But No, I mean, okay, great. Okay, to be fair, I have known one dude who's an albino and his skin is pretty fair, but it's not that white. I don't know. Is albino offensive or is that just the word?
I don't know.
Don't look at me. I mean, I thought it was just a word.
Well,
Who
yeah,
knows
I mean,
nowadays?
You never know. People get really pissy about stuff. Like, I don't know what the problem actually was, if it was just how people used it, but why is midget wrong? You know, I mean, okay, granted, it doesn't sound very flattering. And I mean, I don't know if if dwarf is wrong now too, or if everyone's little people. I don't know anymore. It's hard to keep track. But what was the actual problem? Was it just people were using it in a bullying way, or is there something wrong with the word itself?
I have no idea. I really don't, because it's just so hit and miss.
Yeah. Well, that and like no two people agree on which one's offensive. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I've met some Asian people who are like, dude, just call me Oriental. I don't care. You know? The whole Latin X thing or whatever.
Latinx, yeah.
Most of those, like the people that refers to, haven't even heard the word. And of the ones who have, which is like 30% of those actually use it, and the rest of them think it's ridiculous.
Well, as
Okay.
far as I understand, most I know or know of, or whatever you want to call it, say we already have a word for that, Latin.
Mm.
Apparently, some people got all pissy because the dubbed version of the anime for this character was voiced by a white girl.
Well, as opposed to what?
The argument was that she should have been voiced by a black girl because she has slightly darker skin than most of the characters in the anime.
Oh, for the love of Saint Gulick! I mean, I
Only
know of
slightly?
a Major League Baseball commercial where the voiceover was supposed to be an old black man in
Oh, we're
St.
going to talk
Louis.
about Truth Surge, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
We have mentioned this like 12 times on this show.
So this is number 13.
Something like that. Well, no, put that picture back up, Mage, because I wanted to talk about it for a sec. Like, okay, here's the thing: is like there are people with dark skin who aren't black, you know. I mean, just to the people who bitched about that, I'm like, you know, that she could easily be, I don't know, Puerto Rican, maybe Italian. You know, I mean, except for those weird spots over her eyes, nothing there screams Africa to me.
Well, I think her father looked a little bit more like a black guy, but.
But I mean, if someone has slightly swarthy skin, that does not necessarily mean they're black. There are a lot of races that could indicate that, you know, like I say, Italians tend to be kind of swarthy. So do some Jews. You know, the Latin, whatever. I mean, there are a lot of people out there with skin that's not pasty who aren't black. So if people are saying she needed to be voiced by a black girl, well, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think they're misguided. At least for this specific character. I mean, because, hell, her skin is lighter than mine, and I'm only 30% Africa. Whatever happened to Truth Surge? Truth Surge has been around. He voiced Reese in Quinn Redshift. He's still there. He's pretty darn white, him, and he voiced a black character in a commercial, and apparently a lot of black people thought he was black from his voice. It's a very simple story. He is very, very good with his voice. I've had him voice a couple of characters in my animations. He's amazing. I loved what he did with Reese.
Well, for contrast for the other characters that she tends to be around.
I mean, she has more of an olive tone to her.
Yeah, I mean, she's a little bit darker than most of the characters, but...
Yeah. Actually, one thing I was trying to do with Quinn Redshift that I just couldn't figure out how to do it without it, like engaging in baseless stereotypes was coming up with characters who were neither white nor black. I was trying to figure out how to depict an Asian without, like I say, racist stereotypes. I mean, you look at how they portray Asian people in The Simpsons, and I'm like, I could do that, but I'd feel kind of weird about it. I'm not sure whether people would be accepting. And then I was like, well, I guess I could change their eyes to simulate epicanthic folds, but even then, someone somewhere might be like, look at what you did, how fucking racist. It's like I feel like I couldn't win, trying to create characters where it wasn't just their skin color. That I don't know. It was difficult. I was really actually by the end of it trying to avoid overtly making someone one race or another because I didn't know how to do it without pissing someone off. And I really wanted to not piss someone off.
Mm.
So.
Godless Scummer thinks the issue with the term midget it comes from the carnival days.
That could be.
I could see that.
I could understand. Yeah, all right, fair enough. And I suppose like people don't like dwarf because of dwarf tossing. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. One thing I've often wondered about dwarf tossing is the dwarf playing along, or are they, coerced or worse into being tossed? Like, are they going, yeah, fling me? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either. The impression I get is in a lot of that stuff, like the dwarf tossing and the sideshows with the circuses and everything else, they're all for it. It's like, hey, I got a job. This is great,
Okay, I got to admit, Bogarty there, I kind of agree with you that a lot of people out there seem to want to be outraged. Like they're looking to get pissed off. They're looking for someone who's saying something they don't like so they can blast them. I agree. Very much so. It's kind of like the number of my friends who've started championing causes that nobody wanted championed. I mean, it's weird. Yeah, it's kind of like the Latinx thing where like the people you're trying to help don't want it, but you're doing it anyway.
Yeah, I do see this as a problem on the left.
Well, I mean, like, okay, someone around Halloween was trying to get us to stop using the word spooky because spook had been used as a racial slur. And I'm sitting there going, okay, number one, spook also can refer to like the CIA or the NSA or one of those. Like an agent from there is known as a spook. Then there's spook, specters, and ghosts. And good luck getting the goth community to stop saying, "Ooh, I love spooky month" when it's October and all of that. You're just that's a battle you can't win. And frankly, I can't remember anyone ever using the term spook outside of fiction anyway. So I think the term has fallen into disuse. I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like a not something that needed to be championed, that one.
You hear about the changes they're making to the Roald Dahl books?
Yeah.
What?
They're changing a lot of the language in the Roald Dahl books to be more sensitive. For instance, instead of Augustus Gloop being referred to as fat, he's going to be huge or something like that, or humongous or something. Which kind of sounds worse.
I like what they did with, I think it was Looney Tunes, where they said, okay, look, we're not changing a damn thing. We're just putting disclaimers on saying this is a product of its time. We're keeping it pristine for historical reasons. Just understand that we don't support some of the stuff that's going on in here, and they did the same thing on, I want to say, Netflix with Blazing Saddles, where I think it was Whoopi Goldberg, but it was somebody who was at the beginning of it saying, look, there's a lot of racism in this movie, but it's also portrayed as a bad thing, big time. So, and yes, there's a lot of racist language in there, but it makes sense. And it was a product of its time. And also Mel Brooks was kind of saying the racists are bad guys. So calm down, that kind of thing. And I'm like, do that. Tell us this is a piece of history. We don't agree with it, but we're presenting it to you as it was because life doesn't need to pat its edges for you. And let's face it, learning about how we did something wrong is a good way to not do it again.
Yeah. Though apparently with those books are also, after a lot of backlash, they decided they're also going to be releasing a classic edition of Roald Dahl books without the changes.
Oh, well, that's something at least.
Yeah, so at least they're giving you something.
Okay. I hadn't heard that until now. I think I'm much
Well,
more on board with
they
that.
were. I don't think they were planning on doing it originally, but there was a lot of backlash, and like, okay, we'll do this. We'll have both.
I mean, that's fine. Access to both versions is fine. I'm happy about that. I mean, not completely. I wish they had just put a disclaimer on it, but if you can still get the original, good.
Yeah,
Good.
I think.
That's like a free speech argument to my mind. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I remember actually kind of getting on my otherwise hippie liberal dad's case where he was talking about how we absolutely have to censor the right wing. I'm like, Dad, we can't. I mean, that would make us like them. You know,
Yeah,
we have to let them speak, as difficult as it is, as much as what they're saying horrible things. If we're going to stay true to our values, we have to let them say the horrible things. And the only thing we can really do about it to shut them up is tell everyone else how much they're assholes. That's like really all you could do. And I had to point out that like even the ACLU at one point had to defend, I think it was the KKK's right to protest or to march or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like them at all. I think they're horrible, misguided, ugly people. And yet, you know, the ACLU did at least the philosophically, the morally right thing, even if it wasn't the really right thing, which would have been to lock all of those bastards up. But, you know, it's like free speech cannot be as long as we like it.
Yeah, that's another problem I've been seeing a lot with the left. We seem to want, it seems to be a push for, we need to censor the right so they don't say horrible things a lot more lately.
Well, I think even better than censorship, we should just get everyone to point and laugh.
Yeah,
like seriously,
that's my
it is really
mentality.
difficult for someone to even stay on stage if all you're doing is pointing at them and laughing and saying what a schmuck. I mean, it's making someone look ridiculous just by pointing out that they're being themselves is the perfect way, is like a great argument.
Mm-hmm.
No, Bloggerty. No, they didn't change Blazing Saddles. They added something to the beginning of it. Someone telling us about the history of the movie and why there's so much racism in it, and that it's being portrayed as a bad thing, that it is a pro-racial equality movie. I mean, they didn't change anything. They just put a disclaimer. Apparently,
there was also Ben Stiller coming out saying he refuses to apologize for Tropic Thunder.
Which I haven't seen, but wasn't... Which one was the dude who was like in blackface? Was that Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah, it was. He won't apologize for it either.
I mean, I get that, and I sort of agree. It's like, you know, don't make me apologize for what happened in the past, because back then that was okay, and you know, now I would never do it again, and that should be plenty for you.
Well, the whole joke of him in blackface was the fact that it wasn't okay.
Oh, well, good. I don't know. Maybe one of these days I should watch it, but I have to admit I've been finding both Ben Stiller and Jack Black annoying.
Yeah, I've never really been a big Ben Stiller fan, so I never actually watched it myself, but I've been catching a lot of the buzz on it lately.
I don't know. Like...
Well, Bloggerty, you know, don't they know that Mel Brooks is Jewish? I'm not sure they know what they are.
Wow. I don't know. I still think it's funny in Blazing Saddles where he's like playing a Native American with a total Jewish accent and everything.
Yes.
Throwing Yiddish out there. I don't know. It's just a weird juxtaposition. I think it's funny. Well, another thing that I think is weird is like I've had people get on my case where I would make fun of something that for me was self-deprecating because I'm a member of whatever group I'm making fun of, and they start losing it and acting like somehow I'm this massive bigot. And I'm like, dude, I just made fun of myself. Shut up.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You know, or like I've seen, there have been times where I've been joking around with a friend of mine, and we're saying things that I guess would be offensive, even if it if one of us wasn't whatever the target was. Like, we're not punching down, we're punching ourselves, and we both think it's
Yeah.
hilarious. And then someone comes, well, I'm not punching myself, I'm joking with my friend. And then someone comes in and starts like finger wagging and screaming, and my friend's like, dude, this is funny. We're playing along. Shut up. You're making a big deal out of people who don't have a problem with what's happening. Shut up. That kind of thing. It was weird. Like, I don't know. Some people just really are looking for a fight. Or maybe they're not.
Yeah, they probably are.
But I don't know.
We really don't need to look for things to be offended by right now. We've got plenty of stuff to deal with.
That's true. I don't know. I mean, like, even just the idea of being offended. I can be grouchy about things, but somehow offended is just taken on a connotation that I find I'd rather avoid dealing with. Even if it's completely accurate, I'd rather not use the word, because if I said offended, there's plenty of people out there who immediately would go snowflake. So, I try to avoid the word.
Yeah, same here.
Although apparently on Facebook, telling someone they're a horrible, horrible person is just as bad. It's like, dude, look at all the things you're saying. Look at how many people you're like acting like a jerk toward. You're terrible. And apparently that's beyond the pale for some. Seriously, do we only have things to talk about if I won't shut up?
Sometimes.
All right.
I could talk about my.
That's why I keep you around.
I could talk about the live stream I did yesterday.
Was it about gardening?
Yeah.
Please don't.
Well, actually, it was the main topic I was covering were fake seed companies and fake propagation in methods.
Okay.
But they're a bunch of cons and stuff. But I was only able to get about 30 minutes of content out of that, which I thought was going to go longer.
Well, I've been agonizing over how to make episodes of Head Meats longer, and I think what I'm going to have to do is the old Transformers Gen 1 cartoons where they wanted to change a scene so they'd have like the Autobot logo go back, and then it would turn around, it'd be the Decepticon logo and come back forward, da 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 da, like that. Something like that, but possibly involving a brain, to transition from one to the other, because I had to pad the Rocket Boots episode so much to get it up to a minute long, like so much. And I'm thinking it'd be better if I just covered multiple topics in a single video and had some sort of transition screen from one to the other, because otherwise, well, what am I going to do?
Yeah, just do 2 or 3 per video. That works.
Yeah. So, I guess I'm just saying that I understand how duration can be an issue for your video. Although, come to think of it, both YouTube and Facebook have those like shorts things now, sort of like TikTok or whatever. And, well, maybe I could turn that into a short, like turn Head Meats into a short. The only problem is those shorts seem built specifically for fucking vertical video, and that pisses me off. So
yeah, they're trying to beat TikTok. Apparently, the Sign You Mean account doesn't really do much for counting towards your channel either. It's like a whole separate thing on YouTube.
I don't know. I would love if I had the power to start something like TikTok, but it will only accept landscape video. Like if it's the wrong aspect ratio, sorry, rejected. Turn your phone the right way, bitch.
Yeah.
I hate vertical video so much. But like the sheer number of times there's like a shooting or a crash or something, and someone's like running with their phone and you can't see jack shit because there's no peripheral vision.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people who can't just using their phone to film something or take a picture, and they can't seem to figure out turn your phone sideways.
Hmm.
In fact, I was like during Christmas, I was watching this girl trying to take a family photo, and she had her vertical video phone set up like, and the photo was like, turn it sideways so we get landscape, and
Hmm.
she just would not. I finally just kind of stood up, took the phone, turned it sideways, took the picture myself.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very frustrating, especially since I went to film school. I make movies and shit, and I mean, watching someone film in such a screwed up aspect ratio just makes the film school dropout in me scream and cry. Well, it was funny. I had someone in an 80s group recently on Facebook arguing with me about filmmaking, and I'm like, I know I shouldn't indulge an argument from authority, but I so want to post my bona fides at this guy. I mean, my IMDb page alone would be like, dude, I know more than you. Fuck off. But at the same time, well, I mean, like, I guess I would have to say, look, I'm not right because I'm an authority. I'm an authority because I'm right for it to not be a fallacy or something. I don't know. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, in its own way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because that is the fallacy. The fallacy is I'm right because I'm an authority. But if I'm an authority because I'm right, that's better. I mean, you're not an authority unless you're right, are you?
In its own way.
You want
Okay, whatever. Maybe I'm just talking out of my butt.
you want the link for this? This place posted into your DM and Twitter.
What?
Just looking over some mention, looking at the Twitter stuff. Wondering if you want to open up the StreamYards here to anyone in your DM group there, because you don't have the link posted there.
Oh, that's true. I don't think Diana's listening.
Diana's over here trying to partition a disk.
Yeah, well, what Major just said was that the link to the show is not in the Twitter DM group, that it was just sent to individuals.
Oh. Well, looks like I blew that one.
Yeah, well, that's what she said.
So you
Uh-oh.
And she froze
to
again.
Twitter D.
Nope.
Oh.
What?
Well, you froze like pretty hard there for a sec.
Oh, okay. I don't see myself freeze when I do that. So
Well, you never do.
yeah.
That's why people have to tell you. I mean, hell, I freeze a lot from time to time, and people have to let me know. I mean, seriously, there have been times I've said some very interesting things and no one could tell.
I freeze every other day. I tell you, it gets really cold in dialysis.
Well, you're having your blood pumped out of you there.
Yeah, pretty much.
I forget if I mentioned this or not. I think I did last time. I got curious and looked it up, and it turns out that, yeah, people on chemo also lose their pubes.
Oh.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
curious. I like it. The notion popped into my head. I was like, huh. I bet they probably do, but I'd never given it any thought. Let's look it up. And yep.
Yeah. You mentioned that I think last week or the week before.
Yeah.
Whenever we did this last.
I was just really curious at one point, and I don't know. I think part of why I got curious was actually a conversation we'd had with Kitty a while back where we were talking about, personal grooming.
Okay.
And the conversation did indeed turn to the short and curlies. And, well, so I guess maybe it was on my mind a little when I was also watching House. And a few of my friends are now going through health shit, including cancer.
Oh
And
my.
a friend of mine, she just had to have her breasts removed, and she's calling
Oh.
herself the Titless Wonder.
Oh no.
I know that's gotta suck, but like, I mean, she's got a pretty good attitude about it.
That's good.
Yeah. You know, I mean, hell, like there are, it seems, two types of people who interact with Kate in the world. Well, maybe more. Two types of people who interact civilly with Kate. There are those who find my sense of humor inappropriate, and then there's those who find my inappropriate sense of humor worth keeping around, right? And so she was one of the latter, where well, still is, you know, where she called herself the Titless Wonder, and I'm like, you know, I don't think I can sell that to DC or Marvel.
Right.
You know, it's like, look, up in the sky, it's a plank, it's a wall. No, it's the Titless Wonder, you know, like that. And she thought it was fucking hilarious, you know. But there are people out there where if I had said that to them, I'd never speak to them again. Or
Oh,
rather,
yeah.
they'd never speak to me again. So, I mean, you know, I like keeping people around who can hear that kind of humor in the face of cancer and think it's funny, you know?
Context matters.
Well, it does, but it also, like, the audience matters a great
Yeah.
deal too. You know, and being autistic, I have a hard time reading the room, although I do my best. But there are some people where, you know, you can say that, and other people where you just can't.
You know, that kind of reminds me of when they had Penn and Teller on Babylon 5.
Rebo and Zudi.
Yeah.
Yep. What about it though?
Well, that was the whole that they were going on about the key to comedy.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. And I still remember before they actually showed up, there was that catchphrase. Everyone was going, "Hey, Zooty, zoot, zoot." You know, like it meant something. And I mean, they did something similar in How I Met Your Mother, where someone missed a really great night, and everyone keeps making this reference to the gentleman, like that. And you know, the dude who missed it was like, "What did I miss? What is that about?" And they're like, "Oh, you just had to be there." You know, and it's kind of the same thing with "Hey, Zooty, zoot, zoot." You know. I remember when catchphrases were everywhere. Maybe not as much now, but hell, you remember when everyone was grunting like Tim Allen?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, and I'm sure like "Don't Have a Cow Man" was popular when The Simpsons were new. I think it was. Something was. There was something from The Simpsons that was popular. I don't know, but I don't hear a lot of catchphrases anymore. It seems like. Not out of like, you know, viewers. Out of shows, yes, but it seems like people are quoting them less.
Oh, moo. So Blogarty loves my Lauren Bacall hair, huh?
Oh, hey, did you hear Raquel Welch just died like a day or so ago?
Yeah.
Although, mind you, I really only know her from Fantastic Voyage and from everyone else talking about their masturbatory fantasies, but, you know, it's kind of a shame.
Yeah.
She really was sort of a relic from before my time, though.
Yeah, she was an interesting character.
Just kind of curious, how much more time does your neck have there, Diana? I see you're holding it.
Oh, it's already expired.
Well, I mean, if you're ready to turn into a pumpkin, I can always go out and get food and weed. But if you're not, I can always stick around too.
I can stick around for a while. When I start screaming in pain, that's when I leave.
We'd
Man.
rather you not get to that point, honestly.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you get to that point just because you're on the show, or does it get to that point just because?
No, the position I'm in is what does it. When I'm not lying down, it starts to hurt sooner or later.
I see.
Which is, I hate it because in order to have it not hurt as much, I've got to be lying down. And when I'm lying down, I can't be doing anything. Can't be cleaning the house, for example.
Well, I've
which
found things to do while I'm lying down, but they're best not mentioned on camera.
there you go. There you go. I really, really, really want to have that ablation done, but I've also got to be within a certain range as far as my blood pressure goes.
Mm.
Because if it's too high, they won't do it. Or at least that's what they tell me.
Now I forget, what was this exactly? Like, I've had laser ablation, obviously, but that was on my brain. What are you getting done?
They're burning parts of the nerves that go through the spine.
Oh, that's right. I remember you meant. Okay, it's coming back to me now.
Yeah, they're actually destroying parts of them.
Yeah. Kind of crazy to
Which,
think about, isn't it?
yeah, I mean, it's a little scary, but I'll take it if it makes me not feel the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just hope there are no more medical time bombs in my future.
Probably will be.
Yeah, well, for all I know, there's another aneurysm lurking somewhere, but I've had enough MRIs that, well, they would have found it, by now.
Okay, yeah.
Likely.
I mean, assuming it's in my head, for all I know, it's in my left kneecap. Well, and for all I know, there isn't one. But I'm just saying, as I hope that I don't have to, find myself in the hospital involuntarily again. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because, like, I woke up in an ambulance once after I face planted. I've told you about that.
Oh, yeah.
I was so out of it. And you know how, like, the only person who calls me Catherine is my mom when she's pissed, right? And so they had gotten my ID out and they were looking at it and they're going, "Do you know your name?" And I just went, "No." And they went, "Are you Catherine?" I went, "No." And then when I was like with it enough again, I went, "Okay, yes, Catherine, yes, but call me Kate, goddammit." Like
there
that.
You go.
Yeah. So, yeah, I know what it's like to be that out of it and in an ambulance.
Yeah.
Still have
It's
pictures
been a
of
long
that
time since I've been
impressive
that.
bruise.
Say again, hon?
I said I still have pictures of that impressive bruise on my chin.
Oh, my.
Yep.
It's been
And
a
I know
long
I've
time.
shown you what I did to my tongue when I fell, too. Where it has those tooth imprints on one side of it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
it's been a
surprised
long
that
time.
didn't bleed more.
It's been a long time since I've been that out of it.
Well, it's been a while since I've been that out of it when it wasn't on purpose. Well, I mean, seriously, if I go a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months without weed, and then like one hit, and I am seeing streamers, and I'm not sure I'm on Earth. It's crazy. It's like an acid trip after long enough. Like when I came to Vermont in what was it, July? No, I got there in like early or late June, got back here. And then I had to wait until October before I could get weed again because it was legal, but there was a rollout date. And so like I had a lot of months with nothing. Then I had some, and oh my gosh, I'm pretty sure at one point I turned into a turtle. So, it's vaping weed hits me really hard. It does. Whereas edibles, I can down an entire tin. We're talking like 100 milligrams and nothing. It's crazy.
That's interesting.
Must be that first pass metabolism.
It may be.
Yeah. Oh, my metabolism's kind of weird.
I notice when I drink alcohol, the effects usually only last a few hours. And then Nothing.
Well, wait, what kind of alcohol?
Mostly I drink rum.
Oh, I love rum.
Yeah, that's my favorite. In fact,
Okay, so I could relate to your experience. I was worried it was beer because I hate beer and I would have no idea. But go on.
in fact, my favorite lately has been the Kraken Black Label rum.
I really like Captain Morgan and Sailor Jerry. Yeah. I don't know. Speaking of captains and food, someone had posted a picture of a pizza box from a place she really liked in Vancouver on Facebook, and like the place was called like Captain's Oven, but it had a URL of captainsoven.com. So I had to type in. So who is Captain Soven? Captain Oven, Captain Soven.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hasn't responded. Maybe she didn't think it was funny, but still. Wait, Kitty, what happens on Thursday?
Oh, yeah, that's when you saw her tweets on having to go to the hospital.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Something weird just happened to my taskbar. What was that weird arrow that popped up? And now it's gone. What the hell just happened? Something happened on my desktop and then it stopped and I can't identify it. You know what it looked like more than anything was the spaceship from Asteroids. It sort of looked like it was a mouse pointer cursor, but it had that vectory line drawing look of the spaceship from Asteroids. That was weird.
Oh man. Yeah, you talk about that stuff. What I'd really like, I think I've said this recently, I'd really like to have one of the Donkey Kong consoles.
Why?
I just liked that game.
I'd rather have Galaga.
Oh, that's a good game.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Yes, it does, Kitty. Yikes. Therapist.com does not look good at all. Imagine if it was psychotherapist. Yeah. There's actually like at least one comic that makes the rounds on social media where it's someone painting that on a door, where it's like psycho and I'm not saying the other word, it's like one on top of the other. So it's I mean there's dashes, but still it looks like Psycho the Rapist. Oops, I said it.
I've wondered if doctors change their names to fit their profession, or if they get into the profession because of their name. For instance, I had an allergist who was named Dr. Bloom.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know.
I've wondered, did he change his name, because he become an allergist, or did he decide, my name's Bloom, let's get into this profession?
I suspect it's a complete coinky-dink, but whatevs.
And there seems to be a lot of doctors like that I've come across.
Well, I don't know. My neurologist in San Diego, his name was Dr. Shi. He is like Asian. I don't know what like specifically which country, but I assume China. I don't know. But it was spelled funky too. It wasn't SHI, or maybe it was. I don't know. But it was Dr. Shi, and so there's that. No, but the surgeon, the actual neurosurgeon, her name was Dr. Benheim, but they only said Dr. Benheim to me before I met her. We're going to give you a reference to Dr. Benheim. So I thought it was Benjamin Heim that I was going to go see. I did not realize it was a hyphenated last name. Like I guess she's Middle Eastern or something. I don't know. but Benheim. So I was completely faked out by the way they said it.
Okay, Moo.
Well, I mean, would any of you thought any differently that it was Benjamin Heim from that name, Dr. Benheim?
Well, okay, with me, I don't know if it's me or if it's the population in general. I still have that tendency to assume that the person whose gender I don't know is male.
That's not the point, though. I'm saying you hear the name Ben, right? And you don't know that it's part of a last name, a hyphenated last name, Ben Heim. And someone says Dr. Benheim. Aren't you going to go, oh, yeah, Dr. Benjamin Heim?
Yeah, without looking at written down, I'd probably be thinking it was first and last name.
Yeah, it's, it makes perfect sense. And then when I actually met her, I was like, oh, but I saw her name like on a nameplate somewhere, and I was like, okay. Clearly, the audio version of this led me down the wrong path.
Moo.
She actually called me recently to do like a, several years later follow up. I was able to tell her, yeah, no seizures, woohoo. So, Also, I found out, like, I didn't know this. The reason they had me sedated for like 8 hours for the surgery was not because it took 8 hours to do the surgery, but rather I was in an MRI machine for that long so they could figure out exactly where to stick the needle and zap me with a laser. So, like, I spent most of my time not actually being operated on, but I was still knocked out.
Moo.
Yeah. I don't know. It's annoying being in an MRI where the technician thinks that I'm going to be claustrophobic. I'm sitting here like, no, I'm not claustrophobic. I'm just bored. Get this over quickly and stop bugging me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, every 5 minutes, are you doing okay? Are you okay in there? I'm like, dude, this is like my 16th MRI. Just get it done. All right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm the one where you've got to worry about claustrophobia. I get very claustrophobic very easily.
My grandfather was extremely claustrophobic.
Okay, then.
Yeah, there was actually a time we went. They put him in the hospital, and he wouldn't stay in bed because of the claustrophobia. So the idiot nurses strapped him down.
Oh, no, you don't do that.
We ended up having to have a family member sit with him around the clock, so they wouldn't do that to him.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess I get it, but it's still stupid.
I've gone through a CT scan with the technician put a weighted blanket on me, and I'm starting to go crazy. It's like, take this fucking thing off me. And he's like, what? Just get it off.
Well, I have to admit, I've seen a lot of like footage of, well, I mean, I watch a lot of sitcoms where people end up having kids at some point, and you see those nurseries of all the little babies who've been swaddled. And part of me did wonder, like, how many of those kids are screaming their heads off because they're claustrophobic right now?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine, like, don't get me wrong, I think being swaddled is very cozy, but I can't imagine how someone who's claustrophobic would feel about it. Or rather, I can imagine, but not accurately.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I would be going crazy. I can tell you that right now.
Imagine it would feel like being suffocated.
I don't know. I like to grab one end of a blanket and start spinning until I'm a burrito. It's very cozy. Maybe it's a result of growing up in this climate.
Okay.
I have considered getting myself a weighted blanket. See how I do with that.
Oh, thank you, Dave Bowman, for the compliment on Quinn Redshift there. Thank you.
Moo. Yeah,
For those of you watching this who don't know, I put out an animated thingy on YouTube called Quinn Redshift. If you like Star Wars, you'll like this. Give it a try. Uh-oh. Did Diana freeze again?
Did she?
Oh, no, I guess not. You were just very still.
Okay.
See, this is why we need to poke you with the stick every so often.
Yeah. Well, there was, I think it was last week, you had like fallen asleep on the floor or something. And I actually said to Mage, I'm like, look, I'm going to feel really bad if it turns out we're just joking and laughing and she's like lying there not breathing anymore. You know,
Yeah.
like how terrible would that be? We're all just like going off and having a good time. And meanwhile, you haven't been on camera for an hour and not for any good reason.
And meanwhile, the cat is eating you.
I would feel so bad if that happened, to anybody, not just you, where if I was
Yeah.
like kidding and joking around, I would feel like the same way I feel about Steve McRae.
There you go. No, it's okay if I die off camera. I mean, no big deal, really.
I don't think it's okay.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you're in pain this much.
Well, I guess. I don't know.
I'm actually considering how often people live stream and all that. I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often.
Well, I remember hearing about someone going like, okay, one of these days we might have things like self-driving cars, self-driving taxis, Ubers, whatever. And at some point, one of them is going to arrive at its destination with a corpse in the back seat.
Well, I forget which interview show it was. If it was David Frost or if it was somebody like that, where the guest died on camera.
Heart attack or just expired?
Like a magazine subscription, yeah.
Oh, all right.
Kind of brain
'Cause
aneurysm.
nobody
and-
knew for the longest time that he was dead until they tried to talk to him.
Man, that's got to be like, I would spend at least a little while feeling guilty. I really would have. If I'd been on that show and not the dead one.
Okay.
That's exactly my point. I mean, I'm surprised that it's not happening more often. Seeing how many people are doing stuff like this nowadays.
I'll be honest, I'm surprised no one's ever been murdered during a live stream.
Well, I have seen some suicides during live streams.
Oh,
I have not seen any, but it doesn't shock me.
Yeah, they tend to get pulled, but
Well, there was a movie a while back, Japanese movie. I think it was called Suicide Club. I'm not sure, but it was like this whole trendy thing to kill yourself in public.
Okay.
Like I guess if you're that much of an attention whore, but you don't get to bask in everyone's reactions. So really, what's the point?
Okay, that's one internet challenge we don't need.
No, you know what? Go ahead and eat another Tide Pod, kids. The last thing we need is on-screen self-murder.
I mean, I could imagine that there would be somebody who was bitter enough, I guess bitter is a good word, that they would want to kill themselves in public just to say, okay, here, this is for you.
Well, one thing that's kind of funny, like there was this movie a while back. I think it was Rat Race, but it might have been Road Trip. I'm not sure. But there's this one character, of course, he's the guy in the college dorm who's like, pretty anal about everything. And, he doesn't want the protagonist to succeed in whatever they're doing, kind of thing. And at the end of it was Road Trip. I remember now because I had Tom Green doing the voiceovers and shit. But, at the end, like this character, he tries to start his own cult. And he drinks the Kool-Aid first, and everyone else just sort of goes, nah, and walks away.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah. Sometimes, like, okay, the whole, this isn't the airport, you don't need to announce your departure kind of thing that people post in groups, And I have a meme that says, I'm going to unlike this page, but first I'm going to say I'm unliking it and stick around to see how people react to my not liking it. That kind of thing, where it's very crybaby-ish. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, unless you chose a really slow and lingering way to do it, You'd never know if anyone gave a damn that you had offed yourself in public.
Yeah.
So I mean that's like what if your fuck you, your final fuck you is ineffective?
Excuse me. Well,
You
the
know,
nice thing about it
Mhm.
is that you're not going to know it. You're dead.
But that's not the nice thing about it, because the nice thing about it would be succeeding before you die. That's why I'm saying unless it's something slow and lingering, and my gosh, we've gotten morbid.
Yeah, you like that, huh?
But no, seriously, like if you're not able to see their reactions, then you just wasted your suicide is the point. So, I mean, hell, if nothing else, I mean, there are so many reasons I'd never do myself in, but that's a biggie.
And by the
Like,
way,
I'd rather fake my death and see how people react than actually do it.
if this was a live stream that was monetized, this is why we're demonetized now.
Well, yes. But honestly, like, why can't we talk about these things? It's not like we're advocating it, or at least
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not saying anyone should be committing suicide. I'm kind of against it, except in very extreme circumstances. So, I mean, just
We
like
have to use a bunch of other
euphemisms.
language. Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube is just getting ridiculous.
Well,
The whole
not
thing is
just
getting
YouTube, all
ridiculous.
of social media. You're not
Yeah,
allowed
it's
to
getting
say
ridiculous.
anything anymore. It doesn't even matter if it's offensive. I mean, hell, I've been accused of saying things that have nothing to do, like complete topic shift from what I said.
Okay.
I'm like, not only did I not say that, but nothing I said even referred to that. So what the hell?
Yeah.
That's the internet for you. I wish my nipples were half as sensitive as my Facebook friends. Sorry, that's an old meme. I stole it. It's not a Kate original. Dick Covett. Okay. I know, or Cavett. I know that name. Did he host like a dance thing?
Dick Cavett?
Yeah.
No,
or maybe it was
a
a
talk
top
show.
10.
That was a talk show. That was an interview show.
Did he not have? I swear though, did Dick Cavett have also a music show at some point?
Not that I know of.
That sounds really like Dick Cavett's music videos or something. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else, but I could swear. Let's see. Dick Cavett. Here we go. Huh, he was in Forrest Gump. Who knew?
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's probably archive footage, though. All right, what do we got here? See all. How many? Oh, he's only got 43 credits. That'll make it easy to find.
Hey, Beck.
Oh, hey, is Beck here? Hi.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I'm thinking of Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of with Dick Cavett. Like, was he the announcer on that?
I thought the announcer on that was Gary Owen.
I don't know Gary Owen, but I mean, they did a lot of musical stuff on Laugh-In. I only saw a few episodes because it was on Nick at Night or something, but it seemed like there was a lot of musical stuff, and maybe that's why I associate him with music. I might be thinking of Dick Clark. I don't know. But I could swear Dick Cavett did something like that. Now, doesn't matter.
Jesus Christ, this thing just isn't working at all.
That's what she said?
Something like that.
But, from the avatar, I think I'm interpreting TP Seeker correctly. I'm just saying.
I can't make out the avatar too well.
Well, it looks like Calvin, and it looks like he's got his butt to the camera. The actual butt itself is covered over by a YouTube logo, but it would not shock me to discover that we can see all kinds of Calvin's crack.
Okay. Oh,
Huh, apparently Stool has a foot fetish for Goldie Hawn.
all right.
Well, he says she has a nice bottom. Where's your bottom? My bottom is the soles of my feet. Although maybe he's talking about the back of her middle.
Yeah, there you go.
I've never understood why that's called your bottom. I guess it's because it's like the bottom of your organs, your digestive system, something that's the bottom of
Something
your
like that.
torso. I don't know. Like, yeah, you can live with everything below your torso, so your torso is your bottom, or live without everything below your torso. I don't know, whatever. Like a man can live with his legs chopped off, but he can't live without his pancreas. You know, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you probably can live without your pancreas. I don't know. It seems like people have stuff taken out of them a lot. Like, I don't know how you live without your gallbladder, but apparently you can.
Well, as far as I remember, the gallbladder's not much more than a storage bag.
Okay, well, same thing for the spleen then. You can live without a spleen too.
Yes, you can.
Well, I don't know how. I don't really even know what the spleen does.
I am not sure anybody knows what it does.
Well, I mean that's the thing though, is like, well, I understand why you can live without your appendix, but the other stuff seems necessary. I guess maybe with medication you can live without like a pancreas or a spleen or whatever.
I don't know. Let's see. What does
And I gotta say, Stool, thank you. I am glad to be the focus of your hatred, sir.
is he giving you shit for not wearing a uniform?
Not this time. I think he's giving me shit for saying that Goldie Hawn has a nice set of soles of her feet instead of her
Okay.
ass. So do you think that we in the United States say ass because people in Britain don't pronounce R's properly? Because let's face it, when they say arse, you don't hear arse, you hear arse. Like that, like the R gets really mushy. And I wonder if that's because it sounds sort of like ass when they say it. I wonder if that's why we spelled it that way.
It's an interesting thought.
Plus, you know, it is sort of a truncated version of jackass. The logic makes sense, even if the facts are wrong.
Ow. Ow, 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 ow. Ow, ow, ow.
Well, stop it.
Ty ste kaparant toto je, kere se repetinie. Oh, my word.
Which word would that be? Phenylalanine? I think that's like whenever they say the word of God, I assume that's the one they mean because they never say which word it is.
There you go.
I don't know. It's funny. There was something I hadn't really thought of until Paulogia had brought it up, where he's like, what do you think people mean when they say I'm spiritual but not religious? And I'm sitting there thinking, you know, when I hear that, what goes through my head is that I'm now in the presence of either a pantheist or a deist who doesn't know those terms.
Okay.
I think that's as reasonable as it gets. Yeah,
Sounds
that's cool. You just did mention the uniform today. If you were going to not mention the uniform, you would have had to not use the word ever.
yeah, when they say I'm spiritual but not religious, I wonder if they more accurately mean numinous.
No, I don't think so. I think it's like I don't believe in dogma and probably don't believe in a god, but I really want to believe in magic.
Oh, man.
You know, like I want to believe I'm more than just flesh and bone. I want to believe I have a soul and a spirit and blah, 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 blah is probably what they mean. You know, where it's like, yeah, yes, I have this spiritual side. I believe in the forces of nature and the music of the spheres and all this shit. You know, and it's like, yeah, okay, so you believe in woo. Gotcha.
I don't know, these people who want to believe in magic. I mean, do they even know what they are doing? I look at magic and I see chaos.
Then you're not looking at magic the way a lot of people look at magic. Because when I look at magic, I see something that is illogical yet regular. You know, for example, if magic were real and I wanted to summon it, shut up, Hector. If magic were real and I stop that, you. If magic were real and I wanted to like say summon a demon, I would have to draw a pentagram on the floor and recite Latin backward. But if I always did the pentagram in the same way and the Latin backward in the same way, it should summon the same demon the same way. So, like I say, it's illogical because there's no reason any of that should summon a demon, and yet it's regular. It's logical. It has its own internal consistency, despite the fact that it's completely irrational with regard to how physics works. So it's not chaos. It's just irrational.
Okay, maybe that is a better way to put it.
Yeah. Now, mind you, I've spent so much of my life consuming sci-fi and fantasy. That's why I have these definitions in my head. It's like every time TMM says he can't really understand what people mean when they say they believe this, that, or the other thing. And I'm like, you know, I get it, but only through the lens of fiction. You know?
Okay.
Like, I'm trying to remember what exactly is it that he says. Like, every time someone mentions it, he says, I have no idea what you mean by that. And I'm like, I do know what they mean by that. It's just logically incoherent. Oh, well. I have, like, tried to define what a god is. And unfortunately, there's so much overlap with other legendary mythological creatures that I'm not sure I know what a god is. Like I know what it is on a very macro conceptual level, but I couldn't point to like, you know, a creature described by its attributes and necessarily say it's a god versus another kind of magical creature I've heard of while consuming so much fiction. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
Like it's easy to define the Abrahamic god, but why is say Zeus a god versus just a really powerful immortal creature?
Yeah, supreme control over or some aspect of nature.
That could be it. Although there's also, well, okay, if you're right about supreme control, sure. Otherwise, dryads count as gods.
Actually, yes, they do.
Really?
They are considered to be minor deities.
Okay. Sure, if you say so. Most of the like lore that I come across with dryads, they're really like just fey creatures, sylvan creatures. They're magical beings, but they're not, you know, much more than say like an elf with plant powers, you know?
All right.
But again, I mean, you know, you go from one book to another, you go from one mythology from Earth to another, and you'll find the same creatures defined differently from time to time. I mean, hell, you know, let's not even get into what a unicorn necessarily is. I mean, some people insist that rhinoceroses were actually what unicorns were, and someone mistranslated it as horse. And then there's other people who insist that no, the horse version of a unicorn has to have a beard. So like it's not really a unicorn unless it has hair coming down from the front of the chin. And I'm like, well, I don't like that. It looks ugly. But if that's part of the lore, but then you go to another like set of lore that has a unicorn and the beard's completely unnecessary. I mean, it's you know, nobody agrees on all of the details, only on the really like macro concept.
Well, that tends to how mythology tends to work.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I was actually considering trying to write a like a fantasy story where there were absolutely no humans whatsoever. And if there's anyone even vaguely humanoid, it's only because they're a biped. They don't really, it's like, oh, look, an anthropomorphic lizard. Gotcha. Oh, over there, anthropomorphic bunnies. I don't know, something where it's like creatures that are clearly not human. Like there's not one human anywhere in the book at all,
Hmm.
And it's not as easy as it looks to avoid just rehashing common fantasy tropes where it's like, oh yeah, they may be like, arboreal lizards, but come on, they're just wood elves. It's really hard to not just fall into that pattern of rewriting other people's fiction.
Yeah, that can be a problem.
Yeah. I did come up with some good ideas for that sci-fi version of Peter Pan I came up with. I'm having a difficult time still coming up with a way for Peter to not be a complete dick by not taking the Lost Boys with him on his spaceship back to civilization. I'm having a hard time writing that, although there are people who insist that Peter Pan is actually sort of a narcissist and possibly a sociopath, like from reading the actual book. So maybe it would work if he was a complete dick. I don't know. But I came up with a really interesting idea for Captain Hook and the crocodile, where the crocodile is actually, instead of having swallowed a clock, it's actually like an interstellar, sort of interdimensional beast that swims using pulses, like gravity pulses behind it and it rides the waves kind of thing. So like instead of hearing the clock, Captain Hook notices the sensors going nuts in a regular pattern. Meanwhile, like his first encounter with it cost him his arm, and now he has a cybernetic replacement kind of thing instead of a hook. You see.
Yeah, and you can even have it where he has maybe some kind of built-in sensor into the arm to keep track of when this thing shows up, just in case he's not around any other equipment.
I mean, maybe you don't really see Hook off of his ship too often in the original story, but sure, why not? Point being is like I'm still having a hard time justifying some things, but I came up with a damn good idea to solve a problem that had been vexing me for a while. Like these gravity pulses. It also helped me figure out how the like the hyperdrives or whatever would work in this universe, where it's like much the way we have ultrasonic and infrared and all of that. Maybe there are like infra and ultra dimensions where it's like the infra dimension is really deep and it actually means you can't get very far because the distances are stretched out, much the way it would be with the Doppler effect. Whereas the ultra bands of hyperspace or whatever are really fast and easy to use. And this crocodile thingy manages to use those pulses to get through the infra bands rather than the ultra ones at a rather high speed. I don't know. It was an interesting idea, and I'm still developing it. But if I can figure out how to get the whole like not being a royal dick to the Lost Boys part down, that'll be good. I see conflicting reports on whether or not the Lost Boys age or don't age.
You could have it where they could die if they leave the planet.
I've been trying to figure out how to make that work.
Well, you said
like, why wouldn't Peter die?
Weren't the Lost Boys supposed to be like some other alien species?
Actually, I was really thinking about them being more like refugees or like a military commando unit that got stranded or something. Just like some sort of thing where they're not, because the Lost Boys are supposed to be, according to the original story, they are the babies that fell out of, I hate saying prams, but whatever, it's British. Or fell out of bed or whatever and got lost, and they somehow end up in Never Never Land. It has to happen to them young enough, but they will end up in Never Never Land. And some people say that they stay children forever. Other people say that no, they grow up, and when they do, Peter either kicks them out or actually kills them.
Well, perhaps they could be exposed to something that Peter was not exposed to on the planet that would cause them to end up having to be stuck on the planet.
I guess. I don't know. I'm having a hard time coming up with something that I feel isn't too much of a pulled out of my ass cheat. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, but I'm glad that I am not going to be giving up on this story because what I've already written isn't bad at all. Like the whole thing is, Wendy, John, and Michael are actually crew members on a freighter captained by the guy who's standing in for their father. And they all end up like running away basically because he's a little too strict. And they meet the guy who's standing in for Peter at a Spacers bar where everyone tells stories about the adventures they've had, hauling cargo back and forth or doing survey runs or whatever. And Peter ends up really enjoying the stories that Wendy tells about being on the ship with her, with the captain and the other crew members. And he likes those the best. And so he approaches her and says, "Hey, you want to see the planet that's standing in for Never Never Land?" And it was like, I figured at some point she would have encountered the thing standing in for the crocodile that has all those pulses, like on only on scanners, And so when she tells the story of that, that makes the guy who plays Peter, who's standing in for Peter, going, "Hey, wait a minute. I've seen that too. I know all about this thing. You want to hear about it? Come with me and I'll show it to you," kind of thing. So, like, I was trying to come up with a good reason why someone who's a crew member on a freighter would go with a complete stranger, to a completely other planet. And I think him being a big old fan of her Spacers stories and knowing about the space crocodile thing, he would be a good hook to get the people to go with him, especially since there'd be three of them. They'd outnumber him, so if he got dangerous, they'd be able to overpower him.
Yeah, that could work. Here's an idea. Perhaps there's something in they are infected by something on the planet that Peter, for whatever reason, is immune to.
Well, one thing I was toying with was actually making him an android instead of human.
That could work too. For whatever reason, he's immune to whatever the other crew members were infected by, or whatever that would cause him to not be able to leave the planet.
Well, making him an android would actually explain a little bit. If he was kind of sociopathic, it could explain it better.
Yeah.
Without necessarily making him an evil dickwad.
Yeah, that would definitely explain it.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been playing with it for a while there. I had given up. Now I kind of want to keep going with it.
Yeah, I say keep trying to flush it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I say, the characters I came up with, I mean, I messed with everyone's names, so it's not completely obvious who's who, that it's necessarily Peter Pan. But the only one who came close, his name is Mikey, is still the like Michael. But then there's like John became Johann kind of thing. And like I looked at a lot of, either what is the foreign language version of this name, or what is another name that means the same thing? Like Wendy became Allie. The captain is Captain Queridos, which is Spanish for darling. You see, because that's the last name of Wendy, John, Michael, and their parents is Darling. So I gave him the Spanish word for darling as his last name. They live in, what is it, Kensington Gardens, I think, and so they're at Kensington Station, where the story starts, where Allie is telling her stories. So, yeah. And other things. I don't know. I do wonder, like, if I showed it to someone cold, would they go, "Oh yeah, Peter Pan in space," or would they go, "Cool story"? Like, I wonder how obvious it would be in the end.
I don't know.
I mean, it's really hard to not be ham-fisted with the writing sometimes, just like, "Oh yeah, that was really obvious." kind of thing. It's like a lack of finesse.
Yeah.
Let's see, what temperature is it out there now? Oh, it's almost 30 degrees. And I really should not sound as happy about that as I do. But given that it was like in the negatives,
Florida cold can be weird because it actually can feel worse than it actually is.
Humidity, is that the problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you hear complaining about 30-degree weather or 40-degree weather, it doesn't sound that bad, but when you actually are out in it, it feels a lot worse than it actually is.
Well, here's something else to take into account, though: wind chill.
Yeah, like
like it really genuinely looked like my parking lot was having the startings of a hurricane or tornado. It like just because at first I thought the snow was blowing sideways, but it was actually going in a circle.
yes, I'm in Florida.
Hmm.
Native atheist.
Let's see. I mean, like the weather report will say what the temperature is and then what it feels like. And it says here 29 degrees, yes, but it feels like 20.
Yeah, those feel likes don't seem to be accurate here in Florida.
I don't know.
I know somebody who's like grew up north and was like, oh yeah, they were in like 20-degree weather and we're fine, and come down here, they're in 40-degree weather and they're freezing.
Yeah. I was kind of unhappy when I went to Seattle and I wanted to do the solstice parade, but it was just too damn cold. Although it was good to hang out with some of my old friends from back then, some of my actually best friends, at all, never mind in Seattle. So it was good to hang out with them though, but I was really disappointed by that cold weather. I've been looking forward to doing the parade again for so long and it just didn't happen. No. And I swear the weird hostel place that I was staying in, it was like some weird Russian gulag. It was weird looking and very cold because they weren't anticipating that much cold in June, and so the boiler was turned off, so there was no heat, none.
Yeah, Florida is the land of the walking almost dead.
Well, a lot of old people.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The
land of the walking almost dead.
It's funny. I was actually able to, just from memory, locate where my grandfather was living before he died in Florida. He was in Stewart, Florida, which is a weird name for a town, but whatever. And the condo complex was De La Bahia. I don't know what Bahia means, but yeah. And I say that now because there are no relatives left alive who lived there. So, yeah, but it was pretty easy to find it, and it was more or less as I remembered.
I don't get why I see so many out-of-state license plates in my area. There's like, you have to go like 20 miles out to find anything from where I'm at anyway, so...
So you see a lot of, well, don't people vacation in Florida?
Yeah, I see a lot of people come down with, I see a lot of out-of-state license plates seasonally, but there's basically nothing here to go to. Everything's
Oh, I
like 20
see what
miles
you mean.
out.
I don't know. Maybe they're just passing through? Or do you mean you see them parked?
No, I mean driving around. Go out.
Oh.
I go out. And there's, Michigan in license plate ahead of me. There's a Canadian one next to me. And
Well, there's a lot of plates from not Vermont here in Vermont too, but a lot of people have moved here from other places, which is why. Yeah, it's a shame that license plates don't have enough characters on them because I wanted to get 3D artist, but I had to leave out the I because there just wasn't enough room. So it looks like 3 Dart Street, but I think most people will interpret it as 3D artist correctly. There are a lot, and I mean a lot, of custom license plates here in Vermont. It's crazy how many. It's more than any other state I've ever been in. There's one dude drives around a like a Volkswagen Bug that's like bright ass red with the license plate says tomato. No, all right.
Yeah, I get it. I just got myself muted so I don't munch in your ear.
Well, in San Diego, I did see the license plate. Ew, boys. Seriously, EWW boys. Ew, boy. I give her a thumbs up. Also saw in California, in San Diego, the license plate said Logic. I gave him a thumbs up too.
Then you have those license plates that clearly are a custom license plate, but I can't make any sense of it.
Hmm.
You ever run into any of those?
A few. There was one I saw all the time. It was like LZRDFSH, and I'm like, lizardfish? I mean, that's the only thing I could figure out was lizardfish, and it made no sense. I mean, maybe there's something there that I don't know. Like maybe FSH isn't fish. Maybe LZRD isn't lizard. Maybe it's like Liz Radfish. I don't know. Or Liz Redfish, for all I know.
Some inside joke that nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
You had to be there.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of things like that.
I
There.
got myself some of the Snack Factory pretzel chips, and they're the everything bagel flavor.
Okay.
Yeah, they gave me a free sample of the everything bagel boar's head hummus when I was at the grocery store last time. So
Ugh, hummus. Bleh.
I like hummus.
Ugh. I mean, you can have mine then.
It's good if you have like a really hot, super hot, spicy pepper. It takes the spice away.
I love this one.
Bridget, eat the kids first.
I mean, you have to admit that's clever. Whoever came up with that was good.
Yeah.
Gosh, there sure are a lot of memes I don't use. Like I'm looking through my my funny folder of photos, and there are a lot of these I don't use. What's the best sunblock you got? Here, try this. What is it? Directions to Seattle. I love it. But maybe you have to have lived in Seattle to really grok that one.
I've seen in the videos you've done of the solid gray skies.
Mm-hmm.
I was eating popcorn last night. I think I got a kernel stuck in the back of my tooth.
Mm.
It's annoying me.
I don't know. Maybe it's waiting to be saluted.
Maybe. I'm trying to pick at it with my tongue this whole time.
Mm.
I'll have to get the little pick for dental pick and get back there, see if I can get it out. I'm guessing Diana is just over there messing with her computer.
Trying to get the damn thing to work. Damn it.
See, the sad thing is that he seems smart now.
There go basta.
Yeah.
By comparison.
It is the fufu.
Well, I mean, Shrubya compared to Trump looks positively moderate. Next to Trump. Okay, it's viewed from just solely him. He doesn't look that way at all. Okay, just disclaimer.
Comes down to whether you want Trump or DeSantis. I'm hoping for them being both on the same plane when it crashes.
I don't know. Actually, I kind of hope they both run at the same time and split the vote hardcore so that a moderate Republican wins.
I don't know. Are there any of those left?
Yes. And a lot of that, there is actually a Facebook page that I follow where it's actually Republicans against Trump. I'm not Republican, but I like watching these people heap loads of vitriol on top of Trump, and they're on the right wing. And granted, I don't agree with them, but I don't feel like they will be trying to lock people up for being too weird anytime soon. Well,
apparently, the current projections is if it's just a head-to-head between Trump and DeSantis, DeSantis wins. But if you throw any other Republican into the mix, Trump wins.
Where are you seeing that?
Apparently, these are what the polls are coming up with from what I've been hearing.
Oh. So, wait. Are we talking about if it's just Trump and DeSantis, then DeSantis wins, but if it's a three-way contest, then Trump wins? Or do you mean if it's Trump and someone else that's not DeSantis?
No, if it's just a one-on-one between Trump and DeSantis, but if you throw in anyone else into that race, you end up having Trump win.
So if you absolutely had to pick one or the other to win, which one would you rather have if you had to have one of them?
That's what I was saying. I would hope to be for them to both be on the same plane when it goes down.
But see, I'm specifically saying if that weren't an option, if you absolutely had no avoiding it to pick one or the other, which one do you think would, I guess, do the least damage? Which one do you think we could live with more, so to speak?
I think actually Trump would actually be a better one.
I think I agree too, because no one takes him seriously. Like Ron DeSantis puts lipstick on the Trump pig, but it's still the Trump pig. If you see what I'm saying. DeSantis might as well be Trump, but he hides the crazy a bit better.
Yeah, I think he's a lot more dangerous than Trump, actually.
Yes, agreed.
I don't know. I'm getting the feeling that if any Republican wins, I have to walk to Mexico.
Not Canada?
Yeah, I think Canada would be a lot quicker to get to from
A
where
little
you
bit
are.
quicker. I'd rather live in Canada. I mean, even as it gets cold, I don't know. I mean, I've seen pictures of where my parents live in Oaxaca, and it looks like a third world country to me, and I don't want to live there. Plus, damn place is overrun by dogs, and you know how I feel about dogs.
Moo.
So I'd rather go to Canada despite the cold.
Oh, I don't know if they'd let me in. I mean, I've known a sufficient number of people who have not been let in because they have medical problems.
Robin Sparkles, yes! Let's go to the mall today. Yeah, I love that. I'm sure most of you don't get the reference. I love this one. Yes?
Daju korostu.
Okay, fine. I don't know. Are we starting to fizzle for today's show? It feels like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've been at it for 2.5 hours.
I've been sitting here grazing to keep myself going.
And I really do need to get food. And maybe weed. But definitely food. I don't know. Maybe I'll just say, like, screw going grocery shopping and get a burger. I don't know. I feel like getting a burger.
Five Guys?
That was my thought, yeah. Although if I decide to still go fast food but not burger, maybe Subway.
Haven't eaten a Subway in a long time.
Well, I have. They're still almost exactly the same as I remember them.
I usually like the Firebrand subs myself, or Firehouse subs.
I don't think I know that one.
Yeah, maybe it's a local thing.
Hmm.
They have 1,210 in restaurants across 46 states. So, and Puerto
Yeah,
Rico.
but most chains ignore Vermont, and it's very frustrating.
I don't know. There's a local place that, well, it's not a place. It's a bit of a chain, but it is local to Pittsburgh. They have some pretty nice Reuben sandwiches. The problem with them is that it's too easy to end up paying $40 for lunch.
I don't know. Now that I think about it, it might not be a bad idea to go get like just some cold cuts and bread. And a friend of mine was pushing me to try corned beef. I was talking to him. I was like, "So you're saying it's like pastrami, but
Yeah, I was going to
different?"
say, if you like pastrami, you'll like corned beef, pretty sure.
Well, I was done talking to him, and I was like, "Fine, all right, I'll give it a try as soon as I get a chance." I'm assuming they sell it in the deli aisle, like
Yep.
at the deli counter.
Yep.
Well, you'd be surprised. Sometimes they have these weird blank spots. And it was even weirder in like San Diego. They would have like this huge, huge international ethnic section. And then there'd be like some staple of the typical American diet that would be missing. I'd be like, okay, great. You have kimchi. Sure. But where's the fucking corn nuts? That kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Doesn't look like they have any in Vermont.
Told you. I would have to leave the state to find a Jack in the Box. I would have to leave I'd have to go to the other coast to find like In-N-Out Burger or Sonic. It's there's just nothing here. It's like we have 2 pizza chains and a bunch of independently owned pizza, and that's it. No, I will say we do have this Chinese joint that, like, I don't know what they do with their pork fried rice. Like, the rest of their menu is only okay, but pork fried rice is amazing. And like, it's exactly the same as it was when I was a kid. And I love it so much. And they're like this independent little place just off of Shelburne Road. And yeah. The population of Vermont is really low. It's like, I'm not sure exactly. I think it's like 300,000 people, and that might be overestimating. I'll have to look, but it's a very small number. Population of Vermont, 645,570 as of 2021. So, yeah,
That
just
sounds
over half a
better.
mil.
That sounds better. I was going to be very surprised that there were more people in Pittsburgh than are in Vermont, but no.
Well, there's more people in Seattle than in Vermont. That's for darn sure.
Oh, that's easy enough.
Yep. I wonder what. Okay, hold on. Population of Chittenden County, Vermont, 168,865. So, most of us are in Chittenden County.
Okay. Okay.
Now, Chittenden County is a lot larger than I thought it was because it includes, like, oh gosh, I don't even know, like from Charlotte to Essex. Holy shit. But still, I mean, that's a very small number of people for so much area. In fact, oh my gosh, Chittenden County is a lot larger than I thought. I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well. No, it looks like not. Let me back up a smidge.
It's very
Oh,
blurry.
Yeah, somehow it got unfocused. It happens from time to time. Oh, geez, and it's not set to autofocus. Never mind. It's big. Let's just put it that way. It was bigger than I thought. There's a section that goes way south. Like it almost touches Montpelier, for fuck's sake. It goes all the way, like most of the way to Waterbury. It's a long, long distance. There's this one weird little spike down here. If you see that. Ah, damn it.
No, it's totally blurred.
Well, it was perfectly focused for a second there and then didn't. I thought I turned autofocus off before I got into the show, but whatever. Well, switching from high def to low def to standard isn't helping. I don't know. Come on, you. Oh, there it goes. Now let me see if I can get, maybe if I don't go too quickly. Nope, it insists on getting all blurry. But you see that sort of reddish spike there? Right there. You see it? I'm looking for a yes or a no here, people. Do you see it?
We see what?
The red spike there.
Like a little triangle thing?
Yep. And if I pull back, it's still hard to see it, but it's like
It
the
gets
retro,
really,
the
really
retro count is
bad.
up here. Look at that border there. Because it's like that. I don't know. Well, I mean, hell, they seem to have, and I hate to use this word, but they seem to have gerrymandered the town of Colchester to include St. Michael's College, where it really should be in Essex.
I'll take your word for it.
Well, no, it's weird. It's like the town of Essex has this little divot in it that includes St. Michael's College. Like just sort of cuts it out of the town of Essex. It's weird. Yeah, it'd be great if you could get working again instead of StreamYard so that I could share my screen.
I'm trying.
Google
and
Meets.
It's not
That's
giving
the
me
one.
any slack.
Oh god damn it! It's snowing again. Ugh. God. Was like okay. See, like in December, it was 50 degrees and raining, and I'm becoming nostalgic for it. Like seriously, Christmas morning it was raining. Well, it's still 29 degrees out there. That's not that bad. Hmm. Yeah, actually, Bloggerty, a lot of the borders in Vermont are drawn around our mountains. You know, a lot of the borders are very natural. There are some that are completely unnatural. I can't even begin to explain how screwed up the border between Burlington and South Burlington is. Like there's one point where it completely bisects Shelburne Road for no good reason. And I mean straight down the middle. I don't mean it crosses it perpendicular. I mean, if you're on one side of the road, you're in one town. And if you're going in the other direction, you're in the other town.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, that sounds like Brook Park Road in Parma and Cleveland.
Uh,
Checala. Oye, Geristita Patunie. I'm just going to do whatever I have to get Ubuntu working.
Linux. Blech.
Shandaya Garevetas Tuye Kipike Hata.
Flub it up, blib, blob, bleeb.
Yes. That's what it is on the egg thing and the odd thing with the odd thing and the egg thing.
My dad was my dad was big on using Linux, but then again he was like, "Oh, Linux doesn't do what I want it to do. I'll just reprogram it."
Yeah, which I'm sure, caused a bunch of compatibility issues.
That's me in the odd flu.
Well, he was a programmer, so he knew what he was doing, which seems to be the thing with Linux.
Nix plus Blani quando flu. But anyway. Is Diana doing dishes? Or spraying for roaches? I'm hearing something.
Oh.
Anything?
Does you know Yakanimina?
Okay. All right. Well,
In gibberish mode.
I'm very hungry. I think I'm going to go.
Yeah, same here. And it's almost.
Oh, that's not what I wanted.
It's 15 minutes away from checking on my birdies too. So.
Hmm.
And then there's this cat.
Yeah, who won't shut up? Is she going into heat again?
Otobaleki.
Well, that's not a yes or a no. Anyway, I will catch you evil geniuses later. I am very, very hungry. So have fun.
Same here. I'll be heading out too later.
Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Okay, let's do this thing over here. Oh my. Oh, but aquí está y get a punto. Oh God. Okay, what do we have over here? Oh, everybody went bye-bye. Okay. Well, in that case, Staya Garabanto Yoko. I guess I will kind of say bye-bye to everybody as well. You kids be good and have fun and oh God, I have no idea what I'm going to be able to do here. Everything depends on what the machine lets me do. But oh my. Oh, I say thank you. Thank you to everyone who's here and everyone who's not here, and you kids be good. And yeah, my machine is being strange. But everybody have fun, okay? Everybody be good. And thanks a lot, troops. See you on the other side, okay?